now we'll review and approve the agenda for this evening. May I have a motion? Brendan, second. Bob, all in favor? And I'll add that Penny Ration is joining us remotely this evening. Hi, Penny. Next, approval of minutes from the August 21st meeting. I have a motion. Phil, second. Hugo, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next is comments from the public. To ensure the public's right to be heard, the board has set aside time during the meeting for public comments. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to each subject. Is there anyone who would like to address the board tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you. Reports and recognition. So tonight we have all of our principals with us to give us a report on the first day of school. Dr. Alexi, would you like to kick it off?
I would love to. As is our tradition on the Tuesday after Labor Day, which is an odd night for our meetings, and thank you for being here. Tuesday after Labor Day, we invite our principals to come to share an update on the opening of school. Share a little bit about the first day, maybe share a bit about enrollment, staffing, what have you, and maybe talk about an initiative or two that they're looking forward to for this year. So we'll start with the high school and Mr. Egan this year.
Excellent.
I laughed a little bit because our elementary principals are always so eloquent and long that I find myself traditionally writing notes after they go, so I'm adding more and more each time. So tonight we get started the right way, and I feel good about starting. So first of all, I want to thank you. It truly is an honor and privilege to be New Canaan High School principal. There is no better job in the world than being a high school principal. It is truly something different each and every day. I think we're blessed to have the best kids in the state of Connecticut, the best community in the state of Connecticut, and really we have the best faculty in the state of Connecticut. And they all work hard to meet the needs of each and every one of our kids. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be the principal. We had a successful opening to the school year. We started off the week with convocation and professional learning for our faculty. It sets the tone of unity and purpose for the upcoming year. You know, our focus is on building relationships, which lie at the center of all learning and teaching. In a supportive and connected learning environment, students and faculty feel safe to ask questions and share ideas. We're fortunate to have 10 new staff members this year, both certified and non-certified, who bring a varied and extensive experience to enhance our already excellent faculty. A special thank you to our administrative assistants and to Sean's team, Dan, Scott, Dave, and all the custodial staff for getting the building ready to open. It looks spectacular. On Monday, August 29th, we welcomed almost 1,270 students to the high school with the energy only they could bring. Among these 1,270 were 52 new students who were new to New Canaan. Seniors helped set the school year off with a tremendous sense of pride by wearing matching shirts, playing music in the parking lot, and getting to school super early to celebrate their first day of school. For those of you who don't have high school parents, it's a joy for you in the future, but I certainly beat everybody here, making sure hopefully it's as purposeful as it can be. But the happy tone acclimated and welcomed the freshmen and all students back to the building and got the school community excited for this school year. The administration visited every classroom and our students participated in fun team building activities to help build relationships and classmates with their classmates and their teachers. The first week always brings tremendous excitement. As I share with the students, there is no better day than the first day of the school year. They bring life back into the building. We continued our second year with new start times that have given our kids some much needed sleep and has benefited the students. The traffic flow continues to be much smoother since we moved to the one-way traffic in the mornings, and we're generally through with the traffic by 8 a.m. Those of you who previously remember our traffic pattern, it was certainly delayed by sometimes 15 minutes in the mornings. We continue to work with law enforcement to make improvements where and when we can. On Tuesday, October 10th and 11th grade students will be taking the PSAT in school, the results of which will help prepare our kids for the SAT. 9th grade students will participate in community building activities, and 12th grade students will be able to use the day for individually based college activities, including working on applications, reviewing essays, interviewing skills, and we're visiting other schools. This year we're creating a building block on Wednesdays. We used to have Tuesdays and Fridays as special schedules. It will consist of the same things of academic support, broadcasts, community time, and grade level specific counseling. and that's now on Wednesdays. We keep refining our schedules to best meet the needs of our students. In addition to getting started with academics, our school community is vibrant and active, with both athletics and theater underway. As always, we look forward to our annual open house next week. It's always great to have parents back in the building and visiting with our teachers. Our club fair will kick off in the first week of October to showcase the other exciting opportunities for students at NCHS to get involved with. The planetarium continues to get renovated, and we're eagerly looking to use the space and give our students the most state-of-the-art facility for our students. The library is going to also continue to expand its innovation space, our collaboration and student production. It will hopefully be ready in the coming weeks. Last year, we added a senior peer mentorship component to the freshman walkthrough. This year, the walkthrough was moved earlier in the day, and senior interns gave guided tours to incoming freshmen. It helped freshmen understand and navigate their schedules starting the year. Our PFA and parents continue to be amazing supportive partners. Each year, they look for ways to improve the school climate for students and staff. Students continue to enjoy outside spaces the PFA has generously provided. This year, the PFA will continue to enhance the facility. The administration met with each grade for class level meetings on Friday, 9/1, and with our downtown campus this morning to welcome and set a positive tone for the year. One of the focus items is to once again keep classrooms distraction free, and we ask our students to put phones in the phone caddies as they enter the classroom. They can have their phones in non-instructional times, but when they enter the classroom, they should be put away. We look forward to an exciting year, especially as we anticipate Spirit Week and homecoming activities in October. We'll continue sharing updates and celebrating New Canaan High School through our weekly updates, NCPS social media, and our daily announcements. Thank you, as always, again, for continually supporting us. You know, I talked about the community, the students, and the staff, but I also believe we have the best Board of Education in the state of Connecticut, so thank you to all of you.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
We'll move on to our middle school principal, Mr. Gussich.
You can ask any question.
Unbeknownst to Bill, I was timing because he said that he was going to try and keep it short, and we're going to do our best to hit on all the spots, but be concise here. So, good evening, greetings, members of the Board of Education, Central Office leadership, those in attendance, as well as those tuning in live or watching later. My name is Dave Gussich, and as the principal of Sachs Middle School, it's an honor and a pleasure to stand before you and speak on behalf of our great school. First, I want to start by opening with a thank you to all of those who had our building ready physically and logistically to start our school year. So much happens every summer as we look forward to welcoming back our almost 1,300 students and almost 200 staff members. And of those, with more than 20 of them being new to us, certified and non-certified staff members, and we had 45 new students across our 4 grade levels as well. So. Thanks to our custodial maintenance staff, our administrative assistants, the tech team, our food service crew, our admin team, Roy and the transportation team, and of course our teachers, faculty, and staff. With the help of our ever-supportive PTC, we're able to welcome everybody back in spirited style with our welcome back events, our school spirit branding and bannering, our amazing spirit wear that they make available for our students and our staff members. And they're also instrumental in our ongoing evolution around our campus through grants and our upcoming Celebrate Sachs campaign and the transformational outdoor learning spaces, which we held our inaugural event this morning, and we welcomed over 60 people for our 5th grade welcome back coffee. And even despite the rising temperatures, it was comfortable out there with some shade. We had a great time breaking in that space out there. It was wonderful to see it come to fruition after all the planning and the support of the work along the way. So it was a pretty surreal moment. It was really neat to see it in action. The launch of the school year overall was one of the best in recent memory, and I certainly could not be more proud of our staff and students, and I dare say our parents for encouraging them to walk or ride or bike or take the bus, because the morning drop-offs have gone pretty smoothly. I'm going to knock on wood and not jinx it, but arrival and dismissal has gone very well in comparison to recent years, so we're really grateful for that. In terms of physical plant, we've been updating and continuing to transform our innovation space in and around the library area and our STEM areas, the aforementioned outdoor learning space, and again, thank you to our PTC, and our ongoing paint and floor replacement plan. As you're aware, there's quite a bit of square footage at Saks, so excuse me, that continues, and I want to give a big thanks to Dan Clark and to Scott Olson, and of course to Sean and the rest of our central office team for supporting that ongoing work. Over the past week, it's been nice to visit all of the classrooms across all grade levels and disciplines and seeing the foundation of the positive relationships in action, the interactive and kinesthetic teaching approaches, the collaborative group work, and I believe there's even been some meaningful homework that's been assigned up to this point, so getting kids back into the routine, which has been nice. In terms of our overall focus, in addition to upholding the highest level of academic excellence, which is expected here, we've kept our focus on educating the whole child and the well-rounded experience that they get while at Saks Middle School, and balancing each of the learning domains. As you're aware, it's critical during this ever-changing developmental phase that we love and belong to with middle-level students, and we always affectionately refer to our middle school students as being under construction, and we certainly take great pride in being part of that work site. Following up on our focus of connecting last year, and for good reason, caring in community in years prior, we chose United as our focus this year that brings all of our work together, and we're certainly excited to be united in our work with our students, our families, our school, our community, you all as the board, as well as united in our work with one another at Saks Middle School. And of course, this all starts with our relationships, and part of our approach to the start of the school year was to ensure that in addition to the events that we have with our Meet the Teacher events, the meet and greets, the new student orientations, the new Canaan events, we also look forward to our upcoming Welcome Back Coffee that'll be on the 20th, and our open houses that were mentioned as well. I have to say that the students who come out to assist with these events really goes to show the pride that they take in their school. We probably had the 5th and 6th grade open student orientation, 20 to 30 students, and as it went up to the upper division, we probably had 50 students who came to help out with, about half that they were new, but we had a good ratio for them to be able to show them around the building, and they just really are proud to be part of that, show off the school, and welcome our newest members to our learning community. What has evolved, our staff over the summer was involved in our ongoing work with executive functioning, with our behavior expectation matrix, as well as with our design thinking process. We've had professional learning that has taken place, both off-site as well as offering it on-site to our staff. It includes our custom planners, which are printed in-house, we're proud to say, and have been terrific in terms of helping kids with their planning and functioning. And the embedded lessons to help strengthen the muscle memory for these skills that we're building upon, and continuing to challenge our students and be comfortable with some of that trial and error that takes place in middle school, and sometimes when the error part is at the forefront, that they feel comfortable with that and being able to come around and take a look at a different approach to tackle a problem or work together collaboratively to work through something. We're continuing to look at opportunities to continue to foster and build community through consistency. We held our grade level meetings with all 4 grade levels on Friday. We gathered in the auditorium, and we were able to go through welcome back slides, but also talk through the expectations we have for our students, and talk about some of the fun that we're going to have over the course of this year, and how this all ties in with our ongoing work and our focus on being united. Overall, in addition with everything mentioned, our focus will always continue to be on developing kind, well-rounded young people. And everything happens that was just mentioned in one way, shape, or form each day, and we enjoy celebrating this through our weekly newsletters, through our social media, as well as our digital displays and on our website, and through our new shows that will be coming out shortly as well once we get our clubs up and running, which will be in the coming weeks here. We're always excited and proud to offer our extracurriculars, another way for our kids to connect with our learning community. In closing, I'd like to thank our Board of Education, Dr. Lutzy, and the rest of the Central Office team, our school community for their continued support, and our unity in leading with what's most important, and having our students at the front and center is what makes New Canaan and Saks Middle School special. Our entire Saks Middle School team looks forward to working together to make 2023-24 the best year yet. And I just want to close with one email that we received, because there's no higher compliment than to hear a student or parent report on what they're enjoying even just a few days into the school year so far. And fortunately, this has occurred several times, but I chose one to share with you tonight. I hope you had a great first day. I have to say, wow, I was so surprised and happy to find their child so excited at the end of the first day. Her child said that in each class the teachers were getting to know them and felt that each teacher was so caring and discussed the importance of their experiences. If something was going on at home or outside of school, the teachers were there to help, not simply to teach. This parent stated that kids included her child and shared examples of their class schedules. At lunch, her child found a table and sat alone until shortly after a group of students left their table and came over and joined and talked to the student. This student said that this continued throughout the day. This brought me to tears, and I'm ecstatic about the new school year. I hope this will be the beginning of an opportunity that allows my child's true self to shine. Thank you, Sac School, for a great first day. I know my child is going to thrive. So, nice little way to capture one experience, but I believe it's representative of a lot of our folks who, anxiously came into the building and walked out knowing that we're there to care for them and give them the best experience possible. So, thank you once again, and I guess I'll answer any questions before I
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Thanks for reading the email. It's always nice to hear from parents.
thank you.
Dr. Waller, East School Principal.
Good evening, thank you. I'm Chris Wallach, principal at East School here in New Canaan. I am thrilled to share that, as you heard from the others, we too have had a wonderful opening to our school year. Our opening actually began even before the first day of school. We had 15 new East certified staff who attended the new teacher orientations. We had 7 new classroom teachers, 2 new special area teachers, 2 special education teachers, 1 speech language pathologist, and a new school psychologist. They joined our new nurse, our new head custodian, and a new special education administrative assistant. So we have lots of positivity, lots of enthusiasm, lots of new ideas at East School this year, and we're very excited for that. We also welcomed 28 new students in grades 1 through 4 to East at a New to East visit that was expertly organized by Maura Fruin, our East assistant principal. Students were able to come, they could tour the building room when it was quiet. They could also hear from some returning 4th graders who came and met with them as student ambassadors to give them the tour and tell them a little bit about what makes East School so great. Our PTC hosted a very fun and well-attended back-to-school social on Sunday afternoon. That was August 27th, before the start of the school year. It was complete with flavored ice cups and music. Little Brook Road was opened in both directions. And if you were traveling in town this summer, that was no small feat. But we had a very successful meet and greet on Monday, August 28th, and then on Tuesday we welcomed 570 students to East School, soon to be a few more as we still have some new enrollments coming in. So we now have 30 sections at East, and I'm very happy to say we've been able to repurpose space in some really great ways there. We have a space now that is a new science area for our students. We were able to repurpose some space there. That area is just awaiting some new cabinets and countertops later in the year, but our science teacher is very excited at some proximity she has now to some outdoor spaces that she looks forward to using with science classes. We have a music suite now that's been subdivided to allow our general music classes to have their space, and also a small area for lessons for our strings teacher to have his small group lessons there. And Mr. Levington, our strings teacher, already has plans also to have students have opportunities to perform on stage in the gallery. So he's making use of lots of different spaces in our building as well. Throughout all of these new spaces and in our classroom hallways, we have new flooring. That's to complement the new flooring we had last summer in our classrooms. So now it's really pulling the building together. We're very grateful for the amazing work of our custodial staff to make that possible. That's Dan Clark, Scott Olson from facilities, also our new head custodian, Mohammed Mia, and all of our East custodial staff members. Throughout the summer, there was much construction, both inside and out, from the hallways to the roadways, and we just applaud their commitment to making sure that our building was ready for the opening, and it looks fabulous. As we look ahead this year, our motto at East School remains work hard, be kind. But we're complementing that this year with the theme of at East School, together we soar. Now SOAR, you remember from last year, stands for safe, on-task, appropriate, and respectful. And that's how we communicate to students about those expectations in our building. But we're coupling that with that word together very intentionally this year to emphasize the collaborative work that we do throughout the building. So when we say together we soar, we mean together, meaning that collaboration among general education teachers, with special education teachers, with EL staff that we have in the building to ensure that instruction is differentiated for all of our learners. By together, we also mean the work that our literacy and math specialists will be doing as they coach and plan with classroom teachers to ensure that learning is in our curriculum and learning is coming to life for all students. By together, we also mean the work that will be happening with our classroom coach as she partners with classroom teachers to support the learning communities in classrooms. We also mean together in the sense of collaboration that we are emphasizing between students in the classroom as they learn those social skills to be able to work together with their classmates to solve social situations that may come up with a peer at recess or perhaps a friend, and also growing our older students to serve as role models for younger students. And finally, when we say together, we mean together partnering with families to build those homeschool connections that further support students' learning and growth in our building. And that includes our upcoming open houses as well. We are working with our PTC together to also replace a piece of playground equipment that, due to age and breakage, needed to be removed this summer. And I share that with you not so much because of the playground equipment itself, but because it's coming at a very interesting time on the heels of last year, a third grader writing to me a letter in which she was advocating that we give some attention to the accessibility of our playground to all of our students. So this is sort of presenting itself as a very wonderful circumstance right now because I held on to that letter, and actually last spring it sparked some discourse among our staff and our third grade classes, and they undertook a study of our playground in conjunction with our technology integrator and some expert consultation by our occupational therapist and physical therapist at East. And those third graders deepened their understanding of the range of needs of students in our school, and they engaged in a design thinking project to develop prototypes for new playground equipment that they thought may best serve the needs of all of our students at East, particularly those who may have either a temporary or more permanent impairment or disability. So they have positioned us very well now to be looking ahead and partnering with our PTC to update our playground, but more importantly, to really consider all of the needs of our students in our school. And so inspired by that, our students and their commitment to making a difference in our community, we are very much looking forward to an exciting year ahead, growth and learning for everyone at East. And we just thank all of our teachers, all of our teaching assistants, office staff, custodial staff, cafeteria staff, also our central office staff for making all of this possible as we get the year started, and thank you to the board as well for your support.
Great, thank you. And I hope you'll come back and share an update on the playground. I'm sure you're out. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you.
Next up, we have our South School principal, Mr. Matt Cascat.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come and share with you the wonderful week that we had last week. Never fails. I always get called mom by at least one kindergartner during this week of school. Happened again this year. And I also get called Mrs. Cascat a lot. But South School had a wonderful first week as we welcomed 506 students, which included 84 kindergartners who were divided among 5 sections. Our 6 first grade sections share 103 first graders. We have 92 second graders and 97 third graders across 5 sections at each grade level. And our very large class of 130 fourth graders are divided among 6 sections. In addition to our new kindergartners, we welcome 21 new students across grades 1 through 4. All of our new students, including the kindergartners, were invited to, and many attended, popsicle play dates on school grounds on Sunday the 27th to meet each other and to become familiar with our school playgrounds. I was happy to have been able to attend this event to meet many of our new students prior to the first day of school. Our new students in grades 1 through 4 were also offered tours with their parents on Monday, August 28th, just prior to our all-student meet and greet teacher and classmate event. Our kindergartners were given tours back in May when we did our orientation sessions. We also included a few new kindergartners who registered over the summer, and those ones on Monday, just before the meet and greet. We're very fortunate this year to welcome 3 new certified staff members, 5 non-certified staff members, 3 graduate teaching interns. It's the first time in a while we've been able to get all 3 of those positions filled, and a new school nurse. We're very happy to be able to say we are fully staffed. Buses have been running very smoothly for the most part. I think we had 1 or 2 days where one bus came in maybe 2 to 3 minutes after the second bell. So overall, that's been working very well. Continues to work well, worked wonderfully last year. They started arriving at about 8:25. First bell rings at 8:30. We have the children lining up on the bus platform. They go right into their classrooms and get the day started. New this year, thanks to the effort of our PTC last year, we will take delivery of and have a new playground structure installed during the week of September 25th this year. The structure is called Global Motion, which you might have guessed from the name is shaped like a globe. And it has 2 levels. It's a net climber that will allow students to climb, rotate, and explore this fun-filled structure. Like the globe, it also rotates using a patented progressive resistance, which makes it easy to turn at slower speeds. It's not like those ones that when we were kids that we would get so fast that somebody would go flying. But this is 2 stories. It allows for a lot of children to be on it at the same time, which some structures don't. So this is really great that they can, if you don't know, these things are extremely expensive. So when you buy something for $20,000 and 2 kids can use it at one time, it just doesn't fly. So this is really a great, it was very expensive, but it allows for a lot of children to use it at the same time. The developmental benefits of the structure include building and strengthening sensory skills, motor skills, cognitive skills, problem solving and strategic thinking skills, and of course social and emotional skills. And the structure can also be used as a teaching tool about how the Earth rotates on its axis around the sun. This year we're teaming with our PTC to focus on complementing our specials program, along with following the lead of Saks, West, and East schools in developing outdoor learning stations. Our single courtyard is currently used as a learning space, but it's relatively small, and there are some additional limitations such as sound issues that don't make it a great space for certain types of learning activities. However, as we think out of the box to identify other spaces on our campus that can certainly be developed into highly usable learning event stations, we are excited at what may be possible from the ideas that we've already brainstormed among ourselves and with the town's park and rec department and a landscape architect. Our garden, if you don't know, we have a wonderful garden on campus, was prolific this summer. Just today I received an update from our parent volunteers who manage the garden. I was informed that the garden has been a machine this summer with fabulous produce, great volunteers and their little helpers, and no scary pests. Last year we had a little bit of a bee problem, so we couldn't have too many children coming to help throughout the summer. But thanks to Dan and his crew, they got rid of the bees, and this year they had a lot of little helpers helping throughout the summer. In addition to working with the New Canaan Food Pantry, the garden team has established a new partnership with an organization called Food Rescue US and have made regular donations throughout the summer to local communities in need of fresh food. It expands the footprint outside of New Canaan, reaching to Wilton, Stamford, and Norwalk, to where we are donating food. And of course, New Canaan is still number 1 on the list, allowing for food to be donated to the food pantry's bi-weekly collection. Altogether, and still ongoing so far, this summer we have donated 55 pounds of fresh produce to these different organizations. During the summer, the garden had 8 rotating parent volunteers and their children who committed their time using the committee's sign-up genius, plus 3 regular committee members. They also hosted an alumni day for former committee members whose children have moved on to Saks or other schools. But they love the garden so much that they asked them to come back, and they gratefully accepted the invitation. So all of these efforts have led to a great season. What's next? The students and their teachers will pull a final harvest in October, when we have a 2-day harvesting event. We're going to run it just like we run our book fair, so and time slots, so that every class has an opportunity to participate in harvesting some of the food. And over the 2 days, this will allow for 2 sets of donations, one for New Canaan, one last one for New Canaan Food Pantry, and the other one will go to Food Rescue US. I would be remiss if I did not convey a very public thank you to the parents who head up this committee. They work very hard throughout the year, from spring right till the fall, October. All of our children participated last year in planting seedlings for the garden, and then before we left in May and June, they got to go out and plant their seedlings in the garden. They watched them start to grow, germinate, and grow in their classrooms, and then brought them out to the garden to plant, and now they're going to get the opportunity to harvest their work. And speaking of seeds, our science teacher, Mrs. Brown, is in the process of applying for a sycamore tree seedling that is part of a new generation of moon trees. You might have seen this in the news. That will soon take root in American soil and carry on the legacy of inspiration launched more than 50 years ago, when thousands of seeds were taken on the Apollo 14 mission and were returned to Earth, germinated by the USDA Forest Service and planted around the country. These new moon tree seedlings travel 270,000 miles from Earth aboard the Orion spacecraft during the Artemis 1 mission in 2022. There are 5 species of trees available, but the sycamore is the only one in the program that's native to Connecticut. If South is chosen as one of the recipients of a moon tree, we will work with our facilities department and the town department of public works to determine the best location for the scientific connection to space on South's campus. Finally, as you can imagine, COVID squashed any evening curriculum nights other than our science fair, which was held virtually during COVID, during that time that we were learning from home, and our annual art show evenings. We have not had any curriculum themed evenings since before COVID hit. So we're currently in the process of creating a curriculum evening events committee with the hope of bringing back fun events like family math night and a reading and writing night. One staff member even suggested a pasta and poetry night as a possibility. Now we just need to secure that staff member as the chair organizing the event. So I thank you on behalf of South School, our students, our parent community, and our staff for allowing us to do the wonderful things that we can do, and also to help us be fully staffed this year. When I look around the news and I see places that are short dozens of teachers, I'm sure even more than that in some of the bigger cities, it feels good to have a full staff. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. And lastly, I would like to introduce Jan Murphy, our principal over at West Elementary School.
Good evening, everyone. As all of my colleagues before me have said, it is a privilege to work in this district, to work with your children, to work with such a phenomenal Board of Education, to work with the administrative team. So thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Bill is teasing me because I always bring a book. We usually try and tie it into one of our learning community goals and our school climate. So this year the book we chose is called The Invisible Boy, and it's about a young boy at school who feels invisible because sometimes he feels left out. And then a new boy comes to school, and then in the beginning in the story, he's actually black and white. The illustrator makes him black and white, and then as he starts to befriend this boy and be kind to this boy, he starts to feel more and more included. So it's a great story about, making others feel special, making others feel included, and it ties in really nicely with our school climate goal. So that's a book that we'll be using this year, sort of as a mentor text for our learning community growth goal and our school climate goal. This year, we welcomed 20 new students in grades 1 through 4. We, used our what we call West Kids Care Group, a group of 4th grade students who volunteered to come in early before school started. They created a scavenger hunt for our newest students, along with Mrs. Gracia, our assistant principal, and then they did it a fun little way for the kids to get to know all the different parts of West School. That same afternoon, we welcomed 12 new certified staff members. That's the most I've ever had at West. 2 are pre-K. We have a new pre-K director, Alex Rogowski, and then we have 2 teachers in grade 1, 1 in grade 3, and 2 in grade 4. Additionally, we have 3 leave replacement teachers in grade 2 and 3. So what's happened with that group is they formed a really nice cohort of, together, and we've been meeting with them and sort of guiding them, and it's nice because they're not the only new teacher in the building, so they're getting to know one another and really feeling included in the process. On Monday, as you heard Chris and Matt say, we had our meet and greet on Monday, August 28th. I think the feedback that I got from parents was the kids really liked having it the day before school because they met the teacher and then the next day they were at school. So that was good feedback to hear. We have a saying at West, we always say make it a great first day or it's a great day at West. On Tuesday, August 29th, and I'm very honest when I say this, that it was probably one of the smoothest openings I've ever had at West School. Sometimes we say that and then we remember that kindergarten wasn't there that day because they take a little longer to learn things. But the second day, on Wednesday, when the kindergarten kiddos came, it was equally as smooth. It went really smoothly. So, knock on wood, as we all do, it was a great first week at West School, I will say. We had our central administration team visit us that first day. The kindergarten kiddos came the first day of school with their parents, and the next day came on the bus. We had PTC volunteers on our bus platform greeting all the kindergarten students as they came in. So they really knew a lot of familiar faces and knew exactly what to do when they got here. Our goal always for the first day of school, the first 2 days of school, is for every child to go home excited, upbeat, and motivated to be back at school. We welcomed 447 students in grades K through 4 and 53 students in our pre-K. For a total, I think that comes out to 500, approximately 500. We got a new one yesterday, so 501 students. And that is a high number for West School as well. As far as the buildings and grounds go, we had all of the classrooms were painted in building 2. They're beautiful. They look gorgeous if you get a chance to stop by. 8 of our classrooms also received new smart boards. And this year, one of the projects that we're working on, besides the West School entrance project, and if you haven't come over, there's actually now a water feature in the front. So it's kind of like a little bit of a Zen garden, so it's really nice. I invite you all to come and look at it and take a look and have a seat and relax. So that was completed by the first day of school. And then following that, our PTC generously provided all of our staff with a teacher appreciation luncheon on the last Friday. And then we have another project it's a smaller project that we decided as a result of many parents getting lost in the building, not knowing where to go. So we call it our room tags with a Z. And they're personalized room tags that hang in front of every certified teacher's classroom so that if a parent's looking down the hallway, they can see the exact name of the teacher so that they can find their way in the building. So that's our project for this year. Our next phase, we're almost finished hanging those signs. Our next phase is to create sort of like a directory for the front lobby with a map of the building so that a visitor can easily identify where 3rd grade is, where 4th grade is, where kindergarten is. And so that's our next small project. We are also beginning to look at the needs in our front playground. It's sort of starting to age out, so we're starting to get just a small group of people together to take a look at those needs and sort of create a vision for that space in the front. Other things that are happening at West, we have our Right at School program after school. Our early bird program continues to thrive in the morning before school. We continue to use our outdoor learning center. It's a phenomenal space. Lots of classes out there, not so much today with the heat, but especially last week for snacks and things like that. One of the things that we're working on as a staff is something that we call shared commitments. So, after COVID, a lot of the routines and transitions were changed, and so we really felt like we really needed to reconnect and reset those shared commitments. So the staff, faculty, and we will be sharing this with parents at our PTC coffee next week, decided on setting up some new clear expectations for students. And so students have been practicing those for this week, and everyone in this school is committed to implementing these expectations, and we're very proud of those this year. One thing we're adding new this year is called whole body listening, and it's a picture of Westy the whale and all the different things he needs to remember to be a whole body listener. We continue to use our morning meetings and closing circles to work on our EI work, as well as our school climate goals. Our EI work is integrated into everything that we do. We continue to use the ruler approach in our EI work. We continue to use our classroom charters, which are being made now, our mood meter, meta moment, blueprint. And I just would like to say a huge shout out to all of the people at West, secretaries, custodians, our maintenance department, for Jonathan, who's over there. Because if it weren't for the efforts of every single person, we would not have had such a smooth opening. So it takes a lot of coordination and a lot to go into it. We're looking forward to our open house coming up on the 21st and the 28th. Those invitations will go out next week. We have Picture Day, all important Picture Day, coming up on October 6th, and then our PTC coffee next Tuesday morning. And it's going to be in the Outdoor Learning Center, barring any hot weather or any rain. So, if you have any questions, we're excited. We're excited about this year. So, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say a special thank you to all of you and to everyone at your individual schools, the teachers, the staff, the front office staff, the nurses, counselors, and there's just so many psychologists, custodians, facilities. I know you make it look easy to open our schools, and I know you all work tremendously hard over the summer with your teams in each of your schools and together with central office staff. So thank you from all of us, and we wish you a great year.
I just want to echo your thanks. I just want to share with our 5 principals here that have over 50 years of experience here in New Canaan. And it's wonderful to hear them talk about each opening is the best one they've had. And Jen, you made the point beautifully about the second day being the day that really, when the rubber hits the road, and that went as well as it did. It really speaks to all of the systems and all the work and everything that you've been doing. At the cabinet, the 5 of us did get out to every one of the schools on the first day, as we like to do. We started here at the high school and saw the seniors walking in and realized that Bill Egan was already on his second large cup of coffee, because he does get here around 6 in the morning to make sure the building is ready. And it was. And we had those students coming in. We went over to the elementary schools to see the kindergarten orientations, and they're trying to decide if the kids or the parents look more nervous, as they're having those conversations. But it was great to see everybody. And then another highlight was over 5th and 6th grade, where the 5th grade actually meets out on the basketball court, and there's music playing, and they're getting in their teams, and they're dancing around, and they're really getting comfortable right off the bat as they get ready to become 5th graders over at SACS and make that transition together. We think a lot about the 3 elementary schools and how they feed together into that 5th grade, and to see all of this happening on that very first day was really, really great. And the teachers were right there dancing right alongside the kids. And High School Musical was playing, and it really was a lot of that positive energy that we're hearing tonight. So thanks to our principals who are leading the way on the ground. Thanks to Dan, whose team has to work double time every summer to pull it all together. When you think about how our buildings are used over the summer, when we run camps in the building, if we're not running camps, we're doing construction. And so, it really squeezes their time, and again, they're able to pull it off at the end. And secretaries, TAs, our custodians, as we mentioned, everybody, our food service crew who comes in a couple of days early, gets everything ready so that on day 1 our kids are ready to go. And they really start with our convocation on that first day. If you're here on Thursday morning, you had some of that to enjoy as well. So it definitely takes a team effort. Every team in each building needs someone leading that charge, and our principals do that for us better than anyone. So thank you.
And I just want to add a thank you to you and to the staff, because you all had your own large project this summer with 220. And just to congratulate you on completing the move, and Bill, you have the launch and the downtown campus all set, and our students there, I'm sure, are thriving. So it was a big deal, and you all worked very hard this summer, so thank you. The space looks great, and can't wait to see it when it's like fully moved in. Almost, right?
We're getting there.
Yeah, great. Great, thank you. So next on the agenda is our end-of-year fiscal report. We have Mr. O'Keefe.
Good evening, everybody. Since everybody talked about the beginning of the year, I'll talk about the end of the last one. So there's a 15-page package that you all have. Start with the first page, which covers the operating fund and year-end transfers. So as of June 30th, 2023, our operating fund expense actual of $98,383,999, including $342,000 of encumbrances, represents a 99.3% attainment of our full-year budget of 99.1. As a result, this results in a return to the town and the taxpayers of New Canaan in the amount of $669,000. The year-end results include 3 budget transfers, the first of which relates to the Internal Services Fund. As we ended the Internal Services Fund balance at $996,775, and based on our reserve funding policy, this balance is $193,903 less than the $1.2 million that is projected to be needed in full year '24. Of the total amount needed in the ISF, about 165 of it was transferred from various salary accounts in the operating fund, and the remaining 29,000 was transferred within the other benefits accounts, primarily from employer payroll taxes. The second transfer of 141,177 came from contracted services, mostly from outsourced and legal services, and transferred to equipment, mainly custodial and maintenance equipment. For example, floor scrubbers, things of that nature. The third transfer in the amount of $367,038 is net. It involves 2 separate transfers within the same number. It involves purchase services and supplies. Part 1 of the transfer was from purchase services in transportation, regular ed, and outplaced tuition to supplies over to technology supplies and textbooks. The second part of that transfer was from supplies, instructional supplies, over to purchase services in the athletic transportation line. So those are the 3 transfers that will require board approval this evening. On page 2 of the package, there's a section called non-lapsing account for COVID expenses. In 2020, the Board of Finance and the Town Council approved a non-lapsing special appropriation for COVID related expenses incurred by the Board of Ed. The fund has a balance of $143,113 as of June 30th, 2023, and the unused funds will be returned to the town as agreed when the fund was established. So 143 goes back to the town. Also on page 2 is a discussion of federal and state grants, the details of which are on pages 9 and 10 in the package. The educational grants consist of 6 traditional federal entitlement grants. I'll go over them very quickly. Title I is intended to service children who are educationally at risk. Title II, to reduce student-teacher ratio and support teacher and administrative professional development and recruitment. Title III is to develop English language proficiency and support professional development of staff working with ESL students. Title IV is to enhance student support and academic enrichment. There's also Carl D. Perkins Grant, which is to transform vocational educational programs at the high school and integrate unpaid community-based work experience and technology into the high school. Also, there are 2 IDEA grants, Part B 611, which is to service children who meet the criteria for special ed, And then Part B, 619, to serve as preschool children who also meet the criteria for special education. In addition to that, there's also an Area 9 cable vision, which assists in helping to maintain the high school TV studio. There's also a special COVID grant, which is a one-time grant to supplement COVID-19 recovery efforts. And then finally, there are several ESSER and ARP grants funding to address the impact of COVID-19 on schools. The federal grants are typically 2-year grants, with one exception, the Carl Perkins grant, which is a 1-year grant. So the total award for all the grants in full year '23 was $3,018,900. The district spent $1.742 million, or 58%, in full year '23, which leaves a balance of $1,276,654, of which almost all of it, $1,275,335, is available for carryover into full year '24. Also on page 2 in the package is a summary of the school lunch program, the details of which are on pages 11 and 12. Overall, the program continued to rebound from the COVID-19 impacts and the current inflationary environment. Full year '23 revenue was $2,736,428 versus a budget of $2,555,600, exceeding budget by $180K. Year to year, revenue was up almost 11%. On the expense side, we incurred $2,647,130 versus a budget of $2,463,296, or $184,000 over budget. Year to year, expenses increased by 12%, reflecting inflationary pressures across the board, including groceries, dairy, and beverages. Net profit was $89,297 versus a budget of $92,304, a shortfall of only $3K. Not included in these numbers are expenses related to health, life, disability, and workers' comp of about $418,000, which are contained within the operating fund. On page 3, there's a discussion of facilities, rental, donations in summer school, the details of which are provided on pages 13 through 14. The district, facilities rental, the district assesses fees to outside users based on a scale that considers whether a group is local, whether a nonprofit or a for-profit. The fees include direct costs, for example, overtime and energy, and indirect costs, wear and tear on facilities. The district generated $229,000 in revenues in full year '23. Total expenses were $252,000, which produced a current year net loss of approximately $23,000. The loss was attributable to approximately $50,000 in repairs and upgrades in the high school auditorium, including lighting. Over to donations, the district received donations totaling $631,000 in full year '23, up 9% from full year '22, when $578,000 was donated. These funds are used to enhance academic programs of the district, supplement the athletic and visual performing arts programs, purchase materials and books, renovate playgrounds and courtyards, and beautify school facilities. The $631K, just for information purpose, excludes the $350,000 for the planetarium, which was actually received in July. So that'll be in our full year '24 donation number. Internal Services Fund, the details of which are on page 15. And as discussed earlier in the report, the ISF balance as of June 30th was $996,775. However, the amount required to fund the board's 40% reserve is $1,190,678, a shortfall of $193,903. As I said, the amount was discussed earlier in the report. The first of the 3 transfers, which was primarily funded by a transfer from salaries. In addition to this reserve, we also have a reserve for IBNR, which is incurred but not reported, which are claims for medical expenses that has not yet gone through the insurance company's pipeline. On chart 15, on page 15, the ISF reflects the gap to the required reserve of 193 in the difference to the reserve policy in the bottom half of the chart. I'll take any questions.
Brendan?
Just a couple, I think. So the 193, that's 193 relative to the forecast that we had in the last budget cycle in the spring. So
Yes.
basically 193 grand over, and our total budget was what, 16 or so? At 17. So pretty close. Again, great. Good to see. The second one is the employee benefits for our school lunch program. Is that something that we're thinking will include in this upcoming budget?
I am hoping, no guarantee, but the goal is to eventually have the food services fund 100% of their expenses.
Yeah. My personal views, I think that makes sense. And I know we're increasing prices, unfortunately, because of the higher cost of food.
That's one of the reasons contributing to the request to increase prices.
Yeah. I think it makes sense to have it in that.
It absolutely
account.
does. It belongs there.
And then, over time, we're going to be at a loss, I think, over the next couple of years, but we also have equity in that account to cover that loss. And over time, we'll just have to adjust prices.
Yeah, we do have a healthy fund balance in food services.
Okay. The last question is on facility rental. Do we need to look at those prices again that we're charging, or do we feel like we're in a pretty good spot?
The prices were recently looked at
Okay.
and increased.
Well, we anticipated coming forward with a change in the entire schedule, but when we looked around and looked at the comps, we're very much in line with what was around us.
Okay, good.
So we clarified a few things. We moved to a new software program for rentals that actually streamlines and makes it quite a bit easier, I think, than what we were using. But we're competitive with those around us and how we're doing it.
Great. Thanks.
And again, the only reason we had the loss is because we utilized part of that fund balance to fund the lighting upgrade at the high school. That was about $50,000. So without that expense, we would have yielded a profit.
Well, if you look over on page 13, you can see the statement of revenues and expenses for facilities, donations, and summer school. So you can see that we, in rentals, as Sean mentioned, the 223 came in, but our total revenue is 228. As you break it down, you see we intentionally ran a deficit there in order to reinvest the profit that had been made in the auditorium in that space. And that's always the goal with this, with the facilities rental space. So as that builds itself up, we reinvested in one of the facilities.
Thank you.
I had a question on just on the athletic transportation. Do you have any insight to how that's trending in terms of, has it gotten better?
I would tell you that over the last, I've only been here a year, and I've heard from Jay quite often how expensive the coach buses are, and that bill cannot provide all the buses we need at every day. So we do have a bus that we use, we have reserved for us for every day, one bus, and we pay for that. But getting additional buses sometimes is tough, and we have to go with coaches, and they're a lot more expensive.
Would you say year over year, has it improved at all in terms of our needs being met out with outside coach buses, or?
I think that the investment the board made a year or so ago in the two type 2 buses has been helpful. Because then at least there's 2 more. It's not enough for a full team, say a soccer or football team, but for tennis, for golf, for certain things, they're the right size. So those type 2, that investment's helping us. We've even used some of the white vans when necessary to try to pitch in. But as you drive around, even driving to different towns, driving by schools, you see signs everywhere, bus drivers wanted, bus drivers needed. There's all kinds of recruitment going on, recruitment fairs and incentives and things and whatever. So there's still a significant shortage across the state. And that's the problem with the after school, trying to pick up folks to drive the buses, actually do the work. So I think we're better. We've also looked at trying to reschedule to Saturdays where we can, because on Saturdays you don't have, they're not driving for the district, so more drivers are available and it's easier to get the transportation, and trying to come up with some other creative solutions. But it's going to be an ongoing problem, I think, for the foreseeable future. So the labor challenges work themselves out.
Does it make sense to, you have one bus dedicated, does it make sense to dedicate more buses? Like, does that make the problem easier? I'm trying to, like, it sounds like we need more than one bus every day, right?
Well, the challenge is it's not every day. It's
Yeah.
when they have contests away. If everybody's practicing, we're still paying for that bus.
Right.
And that's one of the ways that we at least guarantee the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working with DATCO as much as we can. We'll keep working with them, see what we can do. Yeah. And I will say the providers, the local providers have been very helpful. There are some, the little providers, whatever, we do have to pay up, but they have been responsible. We need them. That's been a big help.
There have been situations where DATCO could not provide some of the bus drivers for the regular buses, and we've used our drivers to do that. And because the cost of those additional drivers is baked into the overall rate, we got a refund back from DATCO.
So just as for context, in several other districts, and I'm hearing stories about drivers driving multiple routes for the same school. And so they've had to expand the time between the tiers because they don't have enough drivers for the buses. So a handful of drivers and for every school might be running 2 runs, like dropping off, going back out, getting more kids, bringing them back for 3 different tiers. So now instead of the 90 minutes between, maybe they might be 120 minutes between, things like that. So it's a significant issue across the board. We've been very fortunate with DATCO, with our drivers, and with thanks to Roy, thanks to Howard in the yard and everything else. There's a good culture in our yard, and I think it makes a big difference.
Do we have a lot of our drivers that drive the white, can they drive the buses?
So it's a different licensure,
Yeah, I know.
but some can. Yeah, some have that, so they're willing to pitch in every once in a while when they can. We also have a couple of campus monitors that have some experience doing that. They just need to sort of recertify, and we're talking to them about doing that too as an option. Even TAs.
Does it work like pushing them or incenting people to get that CDL or not?
Well, the challenge with our van drivers is then we have to find van drivers. They're hard to backfill too. So it's sort of a little push-pull. We're in good shape generally on our day-to-day operations with DATCO. It's more of the after-school stuff, and those are sort of extra duty jobs that people pick up or not. So trying to incentivize them to do that. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, great job, Sean.
Thank you.
For pulling this together. Another year in.
Yeah, I want to commend Pat. I want to commend Sean. I mean, this was Sean's first complete year as our Director of Finance and Operations. And as you know, we have a $100 million plus budget and lots of moving parts, and all of the grants and everything has made it even more challenging. We've had some turnover in the department, and we hired Pat Marinick, who's done a wonderful job as our budget director, and Sean coming in and putting it all together and steering the ship and managing finances. As we say, it's not a spreadsheet, it's a policy document. And so managing that and working through it all is essential to district success, as is sort of everyone's role all working together. And just want to commend Sean on a great year and great work in putting all this together. And it was Friday mid-morning when I was able to hit certify on the EFS filing, which is due September 1st. And Sean said we need to do this in the morning because it always crashes in the afternoon. And sure enough, we had it done by noon, and by 2 it crashed. And you have to get that in by September 1st, or it's a $10,000 a day fine. Now, they did push it out. I think they gave it until Tuesday.
Tuesday at midnight.
Today midnight, okay. But we're done. We hit our certify, and the document is there. All of the schedules, everything with the EFS is complete and in the state's hands now. And we just wait to hear back from them about any kind of desk audit or anything from there. But it's a lot of work. It takes good leadership and a lot of coordination. And I want to commend Sean and pulling it all together.
I just want to echo your comment about Pat. Pat's been here 6 weeks. What she can do in 6 weeks is just incredible. Really amazing. I mean, she did the same job in Greenwich, and she did a great job there as well, and we were lucky to get her done.
Between Pat and Nelson working as our staff accountants and everybody pulling together, it really was a team effort. It was great.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the transfers as outlined in the fiscal year 23 end of year financial report. Brendan, second. Hugo, all in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you, everyone. All right, comments from the public? Anyone? Okay, not seeing any. So we'll move on to announcements and future business.
Great. Couple of very quick announcements, and the principals certainly hit the high points, but we have our open houses beginning in the next couple of weeks, and throughout September we'll be opening our doors and hope that our attendance is what it typically is, which is almost 100%. So I think we do very well there. Our principals are very excited about it. And when you think about the scope of that, for instance, Dave Gustich over at Saks, 4 nights in 2 weeks, he'll be out welcoming in the parents and doing that. It's one night per grade level with the staff doing it. So it's really a labor of love, as you heard a little bit tonight. So we'll be doing that. We also have our welcome back coffees with all of our PTCs and PFA. And tomorrow morning I'll be here with the high school PFA for just a welcome back and to say hi and to hear about people's summer and see how it's all going. Very quickly, I sent the board an email, just a message that had gone out from our athletics department. There's been some concern about the heat today and the next couple of days, so we are modifying our practices. We're shortening them. We're taking mandatory water breaks. We're making sure we're monitoring things with kids and just doing some common sense health-related things to make sure the kids are all right. This is where our 2 athletic trainers have been an amazing help. They've been a real boon to what we're doing because they're on site, they're on the field, the kids are comfortable talking to them. So, if there's any challenges, they'll be here to help them out with that. Fortunately, we have the air conditioning across our building, so we don't have to talk about early dismissals as many of our colleagues are across the state, given that high dew point and the temperatures and the expectation of where it's going over the next couple of days. But we're in good shape, and we'll keep an eye on things, recess included. We'll keep an eye on recess too, and make sure that some of the adults are watching those kids and making sure they take their breaks and drink their water. So it's September, we'll be fine. We'll get it through it. And then our next meeting, we're going to be joined by one of our newer administrators, Kevin Holly, who will be talking to us about our world language program across the board, K-12. And then be also sharing an update on our EL program, our English language program, which is she heads as well for us. So we'll be meeting with Kevin and looking forward to that.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Hugo, second. Erica, all in favor? All right. Good night. Thank you.